Hi everyone, Gundam Kevin here. Gundam card game has been out for more or less 2 weeks now, and I have some time to play locals. And out of all the decks right now, my most favorite to play is Red Green Zeon. Even though my favorite card game related thing to play of all time is Sky Striker from Yu-Gi-Oh! And also considering it's technically a control deck, I've always gravitated towards playing it extremely aggressive, rather than playing like a conservative wussy. Why are you playing prevent defense? Anyways, here in North America and around my neck of the woods, it seems like Freedom Blockers is the most popular deck around. And since the game is relatively new, the meta is still being formed. Instead of experimenting and figuring things out for themselves, people are more or less net decking. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying maybe there's a lack of representation around here. You gotta find it a little funny though that one of the most popular decks has freedom in the name. Shout out George Michael. But what I'm here to do is spread the gospel of Zeon, because you know me, I really love Gundam, and a lot of Zeon mobile suits are really cool. I would say the line, but in an effort to not get cancelled, here's the creator of Gundam saying it instead. Guys, he was just saying my heart goes out to you. Duh. So this video will be a quick guide on how to play Zeon Green Rush, or more Zeon mid-range is what I like to call it instead. The relevant cards, how much it might cost you to play it, and of course some pros and cons. Obviously this video also assumes you know how to play Gundam card game, because it would be kind of weird if you don't know how to play Gundam card game, but you're watching this video anyways, so thank you. And please like and sub if you want more Gundam card game related content. So let's get into it, shall we? So what is Zeon Rush? Personally, I like to call it Zeon mid-range. The goal of the deck is to destroy your opponent's shields as fast as possible. At the moment, Gundam is best of 1 in a 35-minute round, but much like Sharizaku Dos, you're probably gonna finish 3 times faster than that. So here's an easy way for you to remember how to play Zeon. Don't yield, go for the shield. So now let's get into some of the important cards of the deck. First, you have Char Aznable, who is the star card of the deck. Char is a level 3 pilot with an ability that during its attack, if it is linked, it gains +1 AP and also High Maneuver. High Maneuver is an ability where you can't be blocked. So that means these cards, and probably more in the foreseeable future, will be unblockable, meaning stupid ass blockers are just gonna sit there. I cannot emphasize enough how amazing this pilot card is. At the time this video's recording, it is literally the best Zeon pilot. So you play for this no matter what. Next is Sharizaku 2, and also Sharizaku 2.
I'm seeing double here.
Zaku. One gives you a token when it's destroyed while linked, and the other one when destroyed allows you to excavate the top 3 cards of your deck and then add 1 Zeon or Neo Zeon unit card to your hand. Both of them have their pros and cons. Personally, due to the amount of units you can easily spam out in Zeon, I personally prefer the one from the starter deck, since at the moment Zeon doesn't really have any good search options. But of course, it really depends on the situation at hand. Like being able to maintain board presence is very important, especially in the early game. You will play 4 of them each because you can link Char onto them. Speaking of Char, here's another Char card. Char's Gelgoog. Now, I have to admit my bias. This is probably my favorite Zeon card right now. Totally not because I managed to get an alt art of it, nor is it because the Master Grade came with an adorable tiny yellow car. If you know, you know. Because at the moment, there are really no ways for you to recycle pilot cards. Off the top of my head, the only one that can kinda do that is Banerjee with his Normie Unicorn. But otherwise, there's really no way for you to reuse pilot cards from the graveyard. Oh, sorry, excuse me, the trash. So that means you can use your Char pilot card very aggressively. So don't be afraid to link or pair it, because you can just get it back with Char's Gelgoog anyways. And keep in mind the wording does say choose 1 new type pilot, effectively future-proofing it, so you can probably pair or link Char's Gelgoog with this really cool guy, which for me makes Char's Gelgoog the goat of the deck. You will always play 4 of this. Honestly, the rest of the deck you just kinda round out with Zeon and Neo Zeon cards. Remember what I said, right? Don't yield, go for the shield. That's all I really have for today. Thanks for watching, see you around. Oh, what's that? I didn't mention like Merida and Kshatriya and even Full Frontal with Sinanju. Oh, I was supposed to do that? Well, Sinanju is one of my favorite mobile suits of all time, and the card itself has high maneuver built in, and when paired with full frontal, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Zeon or Neo Zeon card from your hand. So you have Char's Gelgoog in your hand. Oh, you got a little combo going on, buddy. And you also get double high maneuver. Yeah. Merida and Kshatriya are also really good, because they can do minor ping damage as well. But the Bell Pepper is probably better suited in red blue or whatever the deck is called. Let me know down below if you want to see a video on that. I mean, it's a really simple deck if you think about it. Just summon summon monsters and then attack the shields. So let's look at an example deck list. Hello, we are back now with actual deck list so you can see what cards I'm playing. This version of the deck is the exact one that I took to locals a while back, and I think it did pretty alright considering. I went 2-1. My only real loss was against red and blue ping, but that was because I think it was the first time I was ever playing like in person aside from just messing around casually with friends and like online and stuff like that. But I think through experience, I think now I probably would have won it, but at the time I went 2-1 and the decks served really well. This is the exact deck list I played, like I said, so I can attest to that it's pretty good, I think, in my opinion. I'll also have other alternative deck lists if you're not able to get some of the more expensive cards, but for now this is the actual deck list. We're playing, as you can see, 2 Zaku, a bunch of Char Zakus, Gyarados, Girazulus, right? Then Chars, Gilgug, Kshatriya, Big Boy Kshatriya, Sinanjus, and basically these are all the cards that you get from the 2 Zeon starter decks that hopefully you can get at an affordable price. I know things are going to get reprinted soon, so hopefully you can afford it. So in terms of card choices, I'm playing Girazulu because it's a Neo Zeon trait, so that means if you draw like a Merida or even a full frontal and you haven't gotten the other 2, at least there's something there. And same with Asteroid Palau, it's mostly because it's a 6 HP base, and I think going forward I'll probably play more Zanzibar because then you want to just swarm your opponent. However, we do play like a couple high units where it might be kind of useless, but if you are not playing these high level units, which in the other builds I'm not, then absolutely you'll try to play a lot more higher Zanzibars. So this is an example deck list that I played at my locals. I can attest that I did really well, especially against blockers, because blockers and high maneuver are like oil and water. They just don't go together, right? Char Hasbul, again, like I said, is like the best Zeon pilot card in the game. So that's my deck list. We'll go on the next one. This is a lot more aggressive. I think I'll probably start playing this one just to test it out, see how it goes in the foreseeable future. So I'm playing 4 Zaku, 4 Zaku, 4 Zaku, 4 Zakus. Essentially, we want to keep deck building as easy and simple as possible. You want to play low units. The highest unit we have is Kshatriya, but honestly, I don't even think you need to play that. You can probably alternatively take these out and then put in some other cards. Maybe you can play, I don't like Dop, but you can play Dop. You can play other support cards like Gaza D sleeves, things of that nature. And we're also playing a Citizens Take a Stand. This is because all your units are relatively weak, so having to have the extra AP2 or +2 AP adds it up to like almost 7 at this point. Because remember, Char essentially adds 2 AP on your turn. So for example, 2 + 2 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So you can technically, hypothetically, turn a normal Zaku Dos into like a 6-2 AP, which I think is amazing. You can almost take out almost everything at that point in the early stages. So this is a much more aggressive swarm variant, like I said, with the extra Zanzibars. It really depends on how you choose to build it. Like I said in the video, it depends on how aggressive you are. And remember, we go for shield, don't yield, go for shields. So that's another alternative deck list that I will probably be playing in the foreseeable future. So if you see me in real life, then you know. And then finally, this is a much more budget friendly deck list that, although it doesn't really accomplish the same ideas here, like for example, remember, Char's Gelgug is like heart and soul of the deck because you're able to recycle Char, and that's essentially kind of your win condition. Here we try to play like a different kind of style where you try to be aggressive as possible, yes, but then you also have an alternative like Mkuve, because Mkuve allows you to have Breach 1, so maybe Breach 1 is able to hit the shield, so you hit the unit and the shield as well. You're probably wondering, Kevin, why are you not playing Gaian? Gaian, I think, is really bad because it says like level 2 or lower blockers. The most annoying one, I think, in my opinion, is like the Lefrith, and that's like a level 3. So that's why we don't play Gaian. Instead, we just try to add on Mkuve to our other units, so maybe it gets Breach 1. For example, with Goof, right? Goof is able to at least make more tokens, so you can then start swarming things of that nature. So that's how we play it. Zizul is also extremely underrated because then it gains +2 during attacking the enemy player. So if you're attacking bases, you're attacking shields, it gains +2. That's almost enough to knock out like an EX base at least, which is the entire goal of the initial stages. If you can somehow get rid of their opponent's EX bases in like 2 turns, 1 turn max, then you're golden. That's why we play Zaku Uno. Because Zaku Uno plus Zaku Dos, that's 3. That's enough to hit the EX base. At that point, they serve their purpose. You got rid of the EX base, you got these other units like Char Zaku Dos, combined with, remember, the pilot card. With the pilot card, it has high maneuver, it gets at least 5 AP. 5 AP is more than likely going to attack all the popular bases in the meta right now. I don't think too many people are playing level 6 HP bases, aside from maybe like the wing base, right? The underground cave or whatever it's called. So that's one alternative deck list as well. This is extremely budget. Remember, it probably won't go as far as the other 2 options like this one, because obviously we're playing like Kshatriya and Gelgoog, which is like the big money cards. But if you want to just get your little toes in the water, get a feel for the deck, this is how you will basically play it. I understand that probably red, and green and blue with Earth Federation is probably a much more streamlined, effective, synergistic deck. But if you're not able to get the other starter decks because everything's kind of low-key scalped, high-key scalped, then this is also an excellent alternative. So let's go on to conclusion, pros and cons, and all that stuff. So now you've seen the cards, let's look at some pros and cons. In terms of pros, it's a really strong aggro deck that can take a lot of people by surprise. High maneuver is an obvious counter to blockers, and since almost every single meta deck at this point is playing some form of blockers, high maneuver is pretty good. And since Zeon is designed very accurately to the lore, you'll be able to overwhelm your opponent's blockers with more units. Another pro is it's relatively easy to play. Like I always said, don't yield, go for the shield. This is not some technical big brain freedom blockers deck where you have to be able to make trades efficiently with your opponent. In this kind of deck, you just high maneuver for the win. And in terms of value, really the only expensive card you have to pay for is Char's Gelgoog. With the rumors flying around that more starter decks are being reprinted and product coming to big box stores like Target and Walmart, you can easily build a variation of this deck just from 2 starter decks and maybe a couple cards from the booster pack. So overall, it's cheap to play, easy to learn, and is a very aggressive playstyle that can catch a lot of people off guard. And let's be transparent and get to the cons. As you guys do remember that Zeon lost the war, right? The biggest con is this deck is kind of like a glass cannon. If you're not able to finish off your opponents relatively quick, they're able to come back and you're gonna have a really bad time. Because compared to a lot of other archetypes at the moment, Zeon has a lot of weak units that have a low cost, which means your units are gonna be destroyed fairly quickly. But much like how Char managed to kick Amuro's ass even though he was in a Zaku 2, it really depends on who's piloting the deck. Another con too is at the moment, Zeon doesn't really have any draw power. White has overflowing affection and blue has a show of resolve. But I understand in order to make Zeon and other aggro strategies balanced, you're probably not gonna get any draw cards. Unless you're playing some kind of white-green Zeon variant that no one's cooked up yet. So overall, those are some pros and cons. Hopefully you'll be able to make your decision on whether or not this is the right deck for you. I also believe that if you're trying to get someone to learn how to play Gundam card game, this might be the deck for them. It's a really fun budget deck to play around locals. But that's all I have for today. Let me know down below what you think of Zeon as an archetype in Gundam card game, and what kind of deck I should make a guide about next time. Thanks for watching, see you around.